Fort Belvoir. Welcome to the Belvoir in the Know, the only podcast created especially for the Fort Belvoir community to help you stay in the know on the go. I'm Colonel Josh Seagraves, the Garrison Commander, and today we've got a special guest and a special topic. So today's topic is all about health and wellness and what we can do to live and maintain a more healthy lifestyle. Today's special guest for this episode is the director of the Armed Forces Wellness Center, and we'll be discussing the new resources available on Fort Belvoir that will help us to stay ready, resilient, and fit, which is perfect timing, particularly for March, since it's National Nutrition Month, and wellness is obviously a major part of a balanced lifestyle. So, this Wellness Center is a major accomplishment that's been in the works for quite a while. In fact, it's an initiative started in MDW by Major General Jones, the MDW commander, in partnership with the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital and the Garrison. It's the 35th Wellness Center that has been stood up in the Army, and it's really the first joint forces or Armed Forces Wellness Center in DOD. Today's special guest is Ms. Nicole Leth, Director of the Armed Forces Wellness Center. So, Nicole, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you for having me, sir. So happy to be here and really excited about this project. And thank you for all of your time and dedication and support of this project. We really appreciate that. So I'm your director here at Fort Belvoir. I just came from the Camp Humphreys Korea Wellness Center. And so I have a fair amount of background within this enterprise, but then also in the field of health and wellness. I worked as a paramedic for several years, which is where I got really passionate about public health and nutrition. So I worked very rural EMS in Texas and very urban EMS in New York. And I get really passionate and fired up about this topic. So any questions are welcome, and just super excited to be here with you today.
Great. What else you gave a little bit about what led you to pursue an interest in fitness and nutrition, but anything else you'd like to highlight for the audience?
Absolutely. So it's, through my time in emergency services, a lot of what we do in EMS is not a lot of the fun stuff you see on TV. I mean, we do trauma, right? But we do a lot of chronic disease care. And so we take care of people with cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes. And that led me to be really passionate about public health and how can we get on the preventative side of the house, right? How do we keep people out of the back of an ambulance? And then working with our military population, just trying to keep everybody ready and resilient. I myself am a military spouse of 16 years. And so I understand what that's like on both sides. And so I want our families to be ready and resilient. I want our service members to be, and then taking care of our retirees is also a passion, and our civilians, because when we work together holistically as one team, we need everybody, fit to fight and ready to support and be there to support the team. So that's important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm guessing that because you're a military spouse, that's what brought you to Fort Belvoir?
It is, yes. And super happy to be back in this area. It's great. And it's, being a spouse, and I'll speak to those spouses out there, it's a challenge, right? We have to move, we have to jive, we give up, careers that we really love and are passionate about. We have to, if we have children, we have to situate them, we have to start over and make new friendships. So we can be driving that struggle bus sometimes. And I love that the Wellness Center provides a resource, to connect with spouses and get them, feeling ready and resilient. And then that also kind of creates a sense of community, right? Like you can start to tap into not only that resource, but other resources on the installation or garrison, and, find where your people are. So I really appreciate that at so many of our installations, CONUS and OCONUS, that's an outlet and a resource for spouses.
Yeah. Wow. That was, I think we should just end it right there, because you just summed it up. Johnny, that was a great rundown before we even asked any questions. So that was good. Okay. But really, I will ask some questions so everybody can learn a little bit more about it. So can you talk a little bit about how the concept began and then how it went from a virtual wellness center to reality, sort of who it serves, what services are offered, and then where will the building be physically located?
Absolutely. So this has been, a labor of love, starting with, General Jones being fired up about this mission, and then, the garrison throwing its support behind it, which is fantastic. And so, but you gotta crawl before you can walk, then you can run. And so we're coming out of our crawl into our walk, and we'll be running here shortly. We are operating out of Fort Belvoir Community Hospital right now. We just have one room, so our ability to serve the community is small kind right now. But we'll get that up and more robust here shortly. We should be moving into our new space mid-May, and that'll be fantastic. I don't want to give a hard date on that because, as we all know, the best laid plans. But our new building will be located right behind the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through in Penn Fed Bank, and so a really good location on the installation for people to access services. And we will be, once we're in that space, then we will be able to offer a significantly higher amount of appointment slots will become open.
Great. That's great. And then when we talk about like services and programs for the Wellness Center, specifically ones that support resilience and living a healthy lifestyle, what would you say are your most requested services or programs? And then will you have any that are focused on youth or teens?
So great questions. And I think it depends on the communities that are being served, right? So in Korea, we had it was a younger service member population, and a lot of individuals were there unaccompanied. And so just kind of a different population. And so people may be more interested in coming in, whether it was, body composition testing, which we're currently doing with ultrasound technology right now. But once we're in the building, the bod pod is here. We've named her Bella. It's very exciting. Get ready. So the bod pod will be in the building. We do metabolic assessments. And let me just preface this too. So right after I got I have my master's degree in public health and nutrition. So I'm not a registered dietitian, so I can't give prescriptive dietary guidance, but I can absolutely do a deep dive into nutrition and do nutrition coaching with individuals. But I did an internship with the University of Colorado in Denver, and they have this amazing center there called the Anschutz Health and Wellness Center. And if you've ever watched the TV show, it's not The Biggest Loser. It was the one that took them over an entire year. It was with Chris and Heidi. They were the coaches. Anyway, when that show started, they did services in California at the Health and Longevity Institute. And then the second and third seasons of that show were filmed at Anschutz. Anschutz is amazing. And they have all the resources that we have here in the Wellness Center, right? So you can do metabolic testing. They have the bod pod. They've got the coaches. They do all the things. At that time, and this was 7 years ago, you would pay over $3,000 just to have the assessments done. So not to have your results interpreted for you, not to receive any kind of guidance or coaching or follow-up. And all of this is free here.
Yeah. So great point.
I mean, right. Just phenomenal that we can access this. And you won't see this tech outside of a service like that, or maybe, on an NFL team, right? Like phenomenal that we have this support. So anyway, so we can do body composition, metabolic testing. One of the biggest things we've been hit up since getting our boots on the ground here is stress management services. Yep. And so we do, that's a big part of what we do. And coming in, just to begin with, you come in for health coaching, we're going to sit with you and we're going to talk, right? We all have individual barriers. Most of us know the right and wrong things to do, but sometimes you just need to troubleshoot with somebody, and you might need to just kind of like walk that dog. Like, how is this going to look for me in my real life? What makes sense? What doesn't? What are my food preferences? All those good things. So that health coaching is part of it. But then with stress management, we also talk about those barriers and what we're facing. And so we have a super bougie massage chair. It's phenomenal. And in the center, we'll have these dedicated stress management rooms that are painted a specific shade of blue. They'll have these beautiful wall murals. One of them is like this very serene scene of a canoe on a lake. I'm going to go sit in there. It's amazing. Nice. Please come, sir. Come sit and take a deep breath. But we put you in the chair, and then we use heart math technology, which is amazing. And it's just a little clip hooks on your ear, and it measures your heart rate variability. So the spacing in between each contraction of the heart. Yep. And what happens is most of us operate in this very erratic state throughout the day. And when we coach your breathing and we take these deep breaths, we bring your heart rate into coherence. And so that spacing in between each heartbeat becomes even. So we all know the physiologic impact of like taking a deep breath. Like people tell you when they want you to calm down, like take a deep breath. So there is science behind that, right? And so we measure that and we show you on a screen how impactful that is of you being able to breathe, take these deep breaths, and then we'll do guided meditation with you or body scanning, guided imagery. And so we'll take you through that whole process. I promise it'll be like a spa appointment for free. You'll feel great. You'll leave there and want to come back for more.
Yeah.
So it's so much more than the bod pod. I think people see, wellness center and they're like, oh, the bod pod. No, we do all kinds of things. So
yeah. I think that's fantastic. I gotta go back at the risk of, just at the risk for a second. If you don't have a teenager at home or don't regularly use Urban Dictionary, bougie means really good. So those, and if you've never tried one of those chairs, they are phenomenal. I haven't used the one here, but I want to. And the scene that Nicole described is similar to the way the hospital is designed by wellness architects who designed the hospital to be a healing space. So there's a lot that goes into that, and that might seem like a trivial detail, but that's really important. So yeah, again, great rundown on that, on your services and where you're at right now. So what about impacts and trends? Are you seeing any yet?
I think the biggest, again, people are really leaning into COVID has had an impact on all of us professionally, personally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And what I love about the Fort Belvoir team here is that whether it's, our staff at the hospital, so behavioral health, occupational therapy, physical therapy, the performance center, our performance coaches here on Belvoir, we all really come together, the R2 center, right? ACS, there's all these services that we can lean into. And when we collaborate and work together and holistically take care of our team here, and that includes our civilians, our retirees, right? We really can produce some great outcomes. Stress management's big right now for working through that. And I could go on and on with success stories that we've seen, whether it be retirees or active duty service members, whether it's weight loss or just getting your life right. Getting your stress management under control. I'm going to practice guided meditation for 5 minutes a day. Who knew that could be life altering? Lots of good news stories out there for how our services and just this community together with its resources have impacted and changed lives.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And so we're the 35th Wellness Center. What do you think is the significance of being an Armed Forces Wellness Center for the for the Fort Belvoir community? What's that mean? And you've described a little bit of it, but what's that mean for a military family or the service member, our civilian, just our teammates overall?
I think it's important that it is inclusive and that we give kind of that, warm hug to the community that, hey, this, Belvoir is very joint by nature. And I wouldn't ever want a service member to see the sign and maybe think well, that's not for me, or a Navy spouse or an Air Force spouse to go, I don't know if I can go in there, right? No, we will see you. We will take care of you. So that's the significance of this. And again, we've seen so much support, Captain Judy, phenomenal there at the hospital, Navy commander, showing us all kinds of support. And so it really is a team effort to bring that under, and we'll be the first center to open up under DHA. So a DHA MTF as opposed to an Army MTF. And so significant on multiple levels. But again, just framing it that way and letting people know that, hey, these services are for you. Is important. Yep,
absolutely. That's exactly along the lines that we've been thinking about for the larger Fort Belvoir community. So we talked a little bit about individual, services that are available. Can you share a little bit with our listeners about services that are available for units?
100%. So we've had great success with doing online classes and different units. So we've supported the REF, INSCOM, the TAB. So we can take our classes and do them virtually. And some people are really comfortable with that. If that's where your unit is operating in that type of space right now, we can support that. And then whatever, and we're also happy to come to you and to teach. We will have a classroom in our new building when that is open, but right now we can come out to your team, depending on what the regulation is and with numbers and gatherings, and we'll come out and teach. And we teach stress management, upping your metabolism, fueling for health, all kinds of fun stuff. And those classes are designed to be interactive, ask the questions. We were up today teaching the old guard and doing performance fueling. We also offer ACFT prep classes, so performance optimization. So hit us up for that. We can do that, as a group, and then we hope to see those people as individuals. And all of our staff are certified personal trainers, so we can work through plans. And when you get to, a point that you're really ready to get after it, then we're going to refer you out to our performance coaches who are phenomenal here. Like, please, you should meet Karen. I'm not going to have a pull-up contest with her. Jeez, no way.
Yeah, I've heard that same thing. So that's why I'm doing pull-ups like 3 times a week now. So that's good. Really good. Good tip there. So obviously the services, they're available for civilian personnel, and those services will continue when the center opens. Are you seeing primarily, I guess primarily now you're seeing military. Have you had much of our civilian workforce engage with the center yet?
100%. I love getting our civilians in there. They are doing great work. They are doing the work. It's great. Yep. So they've been in. And then I've had several retirees come in. We really do see a breadth of the population here. The services typically, when you look at our stats, right, we tend to see 60 to 70% active duty, and then the rest of the percentages fall into play for civilian family member and retiree. I would imagine maybe those numbers look a little different here, but we'll see. But yeah, we're happy to see all the people.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, I think, we talked a little bit about the ribbon cutting. We're sort of wrapping up here. I think we said sometime in May, but we want to be careful about dates because, as you noted, I think it's very important anytime you're dealing with any kind of construction or renovation, you got to be sort of careful about dates. But we're shooting for May at some point, I think. Anything else to add on that?
Nope, we're shooting for May. And then please stay tuned. So please follow us on Facebook. Look up Fort Belvoir Armed Forces Wellness Center on Facebook, on Instagram, Fort Belvoir AFWC. You can look at our website. So if you just Google, Fort Belvoir Wellness Center, will pop up. We will keep all those platforms updated with a grand opening date and, contact information and phone numbers and all of that. The phone number that's posted on there is for our room at the community hospital, and that will change when we go to our building. But there isn't a generalized email address on there. So please message us, if you've got any questions. Right now, we're putting together a wait list for appointments, so please call us, hop on the wait list, and we will execute that as soon as we're in the building. Good.
Okay, so that's how they contact you. Get on the website. Any other closing thoughts for the audience?
No, we're just really excited, and I want you to know you've got a team here that is, well credentialed, well educated, and we all really love what we do. We're really passionate about this work, so we're here to take care of you in any capacity and whatever that looks like. If today's not your day for Bod Pod, then don't come in for Bod Pod. You just come in and sit and chat with us, and it'll be a good visit, like with a good friend. Right. Masked up and all appropriate, but we'll do the right things.
Yeah, keep it positive. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Nicole, for joining us today. I think that about wraps us up. We've come to the end of another podcast. So I just asked the Fort Belvoir team to remember a couple of things. Don't forget to download the Garrison app and make Fort Belvoir your installation of choice. Connect with us on our website and Facebook page for all things Belvoir. Follow the Armed Forces Wellness Center on Facebook and their new Instagram page. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and maintain physical distance. And as always, thanks for joining us. From me to you, and now you know.